Let's go through the picking and packing process together. This is a big giant box that I use. I use this big box to hold all the packages when we head over to the post office. I need something to carry them in. Makes sense, right? But I've forgotten that. This is another option. These right here are post office bags. You can go to your local post office and you can request these bags and you can fill them up with your packages, wrap them up like a big bag of Christmas presents, and you can leave them out on the doorstep for the post office to come pick up. You can also bring them to the post office and staple your end of day form, which is also known as your multi-scan sheet, and you can drop that off at the post office. So it can save you a ton of time if you pre-pack everything here. Today, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. If they will all fit in a bag, I might do it, but I don't think they're going to. So I'm gonna fill up this tote and I'm gonna drive them down to the post office, drop them off in the back, and give them our multi-scan sheet. I'm gonna walk you through this process today so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I've made time and time again. I'd learn how to ship the hard way. So by showing you the correct way, hopefully it saves you some time and headache. The first thing that we need to do is get our orders printed, but what you'll end up with is a bunch of these. These are all orders. They've all been printed out on a 4x6-inch label. It's sticky and it's a thermal printer. So it doesn't use ink or toner. It uses light and heat to print. Oh, let me tell you, it makes life so much easier. If you have that option, it's the best. I use a Dymo 4XL. That's the type of label printer I use. It looks like this. You can grab them on Amazon. They are worth every penny, let me tell you. This right here, you'll see that I wrote on the back of this one, this is for our 1-packs of Maker's Magic, and this whole big stack is for our 3-packs. I've got about 96 units that I can ship out today. So I've pre-printed everything, and now I'm going to pick it and pack it. That's a term you might hear. And as you grow in e-commerce, you're gonna hear it a lot more often. Picking and packing is what it means to grab the item off the shelf. That's the pick part. And then the pack part is when you put it in the actual envelope. Makes sense, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of that label. We're gonna open up our box of Maker's Magic and we're gonna get this prepped. This is gonna go right here. I'm not gonna pack the 1-packs and the 3-packs at the same time because I might make a mistake and I don't want that to happen. I'm going to first label all of the envelopes and then I'm gonna pack them. Let me show you what I mean. These are the envelopes that we use to ship in. We get them from Uline because they're affordable, they're recyclable, they're durable, and they are fairly cheap. They are craft brown mailers and they're what? 8.5 by 14.5. This will fit a single pack, a 2-pack, a 3-pack, and a 4-pack. So they'll cover most of our orders. I'm gonna grab a whole stack out of here and I'm gonna set the rest of the box right down here. Now that I've got a stack, I've got labels. The first thing that I do is I label each one of these envelopes that I need to pack a single pack of. I'm gonna label each one that gets one. All of these envelopes are going to get 1 bottle of Maker's Magic. After I put all the stickers on, I'm gonna pack them and put them in the box. Look, the reason I do it this way is because I've messed this up before. It's really easy to pre-label everything and then look at it and be like, oh crap, what did Jennifer order? Because I don't print out packing slips, I don't know. So I have to be very diligent and not mess this up. Always handy to have a trash can nearby when you're doing this stuff. It makes a lot of trash. Okay, so the first stack of envelopes is good. The next thing that I do is I set myself up for success. That means I'll take the label, the envelopes, and I'll sit them right here next to me so that when I pick them up, it's one motion to grab it and stick it in. Every time you pick up and touch a package, it's considered a touch point. Let's see if you can count the touch points with my pick and pack right now. How many do you think that was? It's 1 to pick up the envelope, it's 2 to grab a bottle, and it's 3 to seal it and drop it in the box. So that's 3 touches. Now, what if my envelopes were over here? 1 to pick it up and flip it over, 2 to open it, 3 to grab the Maker's Magic, and 4 to seal it and drop it in here. That 1 touch point extra by grabbing the mailer and flipping it over adds a ton of time when extrapolated out over a few hours. So set yourself up for success in this process. Try to do everything all at once of like one type of work and then move on to the other. I call this batching. Yeah, I don't know, just doing similar jobs together. If you applied a label, then grabbed the order, packed it up and dropped it, and you did a different thing every single time, it would take you much longer. I know because I've done time studies on this stuff, just because I'm curious. Okay, that handles all of the single packs. We're done. Now we need to do the 3-packs. When stickering the 3-packs, I like to start with the first label. Label number 1. I get myself set up for success with these guys right here, and I just start turning and burning. I try to do as few touches as possible. You'll see that my left hand barely moves, and my right hand pretty much does the same thing over and over again. I cannot stress how important it is to have fewer movements. Even, I think movements might be a better word than touches, to be honest with you. But I'm trying to have the least amount of movement possible because that means more efficiency and it means more speed. You might be asking, what shipping service are you using, Evan? Because I see Ground Advantage on the labels. Who ships Ground Advantage? It's a great question. This is another mistake that I made in the very beginning, was not understanding the different types of carriers. Just like Walmart, Target, and Big Lots are all different types of stores, they all sell stuff in a retail store, but they all do things very differently. Just like shipping companies, the post office, UPS, FedEx, DHL, they all do stuff a little bit differently. For people that are in e-commerce, the post office is going to be your best friend. Why? Because they're the cheapest. However, when dealing with the post office, it can be a little bit more challenging. We all know how the post office is. It's called going postal for a reason. You're going to get the lowest level of customer service. You're going to have the slowest shipping time. You're going to have the highest rate of your packages being lost or destroyed. You're going to have poor tracking that might not always work, but you're going to get the cheapest prices. And that's what makes the post office so special, the cheapest prices. And you and I both know that oftentimes it's about the money, it's not about the level of service. Now, if you are shipping something that needs to be refrigerated or get there within a day or all these other stuff, you might want to look at UPS and FedEx. You will pay a lot more, but you have a higher likelihood of your item arriving safely with proper tracking and without hiccups. You're just gonna have to pay for that. UPS would be the next most expensive. FedEx is the most expensive. I don't recommend using DHL unless you're doing some sort of worldwide shipping. Let's grab another stack of envelopes here and finish up the rest of our labels. If you really think about it, building a business that does over $1 million in sales, it's a significant amount of packages. It's like 200 packages a day, roughly, at an average order of $30. My math might be wrong there, but it's pretty close. What does that mean? It means that somebody actually has to grab the item, put it in the envelope, label it, and ship it off. That costs money. It can totally be you in the beginning. In fact, it probably should be because you won't be able to afford it. I couldn't. And that was another mistake that I want to touch on is do your shipping for a little while. Learn the process. Get good at it. Get used to the costs. Get used to the speed. Get used to dealing with customer service before you pawn it off on a 3PL or another company. Why? Because you need to know how to manage it and you need to know when they're doing a good job and a bad job. And you won't know unless you do it yourself for a little while. We're gonna pack the 3-packs now. You might be asking yourself, well, Evan, you're doing a couple $1 million a year in sales. Why are you packing your item? That's a great question. See that machine right there? I'm also filling the product in my garage. I am making it, I am bottling it, I am labeling it, and I am shipping it. The reason we do it right now is because this is a brand new product. It's only 65 days old. In order for us to iterate, move quickly, get feedback, ship on time, and keep up with demand in the beginning of a product launch, I needed to do it in my garage so that we could save the money, have the speed, and be able to iterate quickly. If I sent all this stuff into a warehouse, I'd have to wait for the product to arrive at their warehouse. I'd have to get them up to speed on how to pack and ship, and it would cost me an extra $2.50 per package. We can't afford that in the beginning of this product launch. We don't have the margin for it. So we've decided to manufacture things in-house to get good at it, so we can then create an SOP or a standard operating procedure and pass that along to our co-packer and our warehouse so they can make the product and ship it according to our standards. It's not okay just to throw stuff in a box and ship it. It needs to be done according to our brand guidelines and how we want to present ourselves to the customer. This right here is our own making. I've had my hands in this process from the very beginning. The label design, the top label design, how it's bottled, the bottles itself. I've had everything to do with this process and I know it inside and out. Because I know it inside and out, I was able to tell a manufacturer exactly what we wanted to see. I think there's something special about that. When people get into e-commerce, they think that they are above talking to customers. They think they're above the manufacturing process or the shipping or the picking and packing process. E-commerce is a down and dirty profession. It's not a niche that's going to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. We're not building an agency where we just talk to people all the time. We are selling people a physical product. We have to get that product from our manufacturer or our warehouse to the customer. And that means that somebody has to touch it and deliver it. In the beginning, that might be you. I have literally dropped packages off at customers' houses, if they're close enough to me, to build a relationship, surprise and delight them, and make sure that they get their stuff on time. There's nothing wrong with that. In the beginning, I thought I was above it. I am not. In fact, my business didn't start doing well until I fully embraced talking to customers, owning those relationships, and just taking care of people. Okay, let's move on to the next box of 3 packs. We filled up these units last night, knowing full well that we'd have a bunch of orders to pick and pack today. I really want you to think about how much you're charging for your products. I really want you to think about the unit economics. I want you to think about the amount of profit you're making on each one. Let's use Maker's Magic for example. Maker's Magic costs us about $4 to make. With the labor, the labels, the bottles, the liquid itself, mixing it up, and everything else. This does not include shipping, by the way. It costs us about $4, so that's our cost on Maker's Magic. We sell Maker's Magic for $20. Cool, so we're at $16 right now in profit. It costs us $10 to get a customer, and that's a really good customer acquisition cost. So that means we have to pay an average of $10 to get a customer on Facebook. So to get somebody to buy with our ads cost 10 bucks. Well, we're now at $6 in profit. You can see the profit margin has already shrank quite a bit. All the packing materials is probably about 50 cents. So now we're at $5.50. To pay a 3PL to pick and pack this item is $2.50 per package. Okay, we are now at $3 in profit per unit. And that doesn't include any unforeseen circumstances. Employee overhead, paying people to build the websites, my salary, everything else we got going on. We're making about $1 to $3 per Maker's Magic that we sell. And then you add on top the shipping costs. We didn't even talk about that. Shipping this right here costs us about $4. So now we're negative $1. If we sold these for $20 on our website and it cost us $10 to get that sale, and we have to pay $2.50 to pick and pack it, and it costs us 50 cents in packaging, and it costs us $4 to ship, and our costs are $4, we are at negative $1. We are losing money making sales. How does that work? Yes, it's a real problem. So how do you solve that? Well, you can lower your costs. I can't lower the cost of the product right now until we start making more. Economies of scale will drop the price down maybe by 20%, but that's not very much wiggle room. We can't lower the cost of what it is to ship because shipping is standard and we can't negotiate with the post office until we're doing millions of packages a month, or I should say tens of thousands of packages a month, and we're not there yet. So we can't cut costs there. We can cut costs by shipping it ourselves. That'll save us $2.50 because now I don't have to pay a warehouse to pick and pack it. Okay. We can also lower the amount of money we have to spend to get a customer. So our customer acquisition cost is, as I mentioned, $10. It costs us $10 to get a customer on Facebook. We could lower that cost. That's hard to do. If you can teach me how to lower that cost reliably, you would be a very rich person. So we can't rely on lowering customer acquisition costs. So what the heck do we do? What lever can we pull to make this work? What lever can we pull to make it profitable? Selling price. The amount of profit you make is your price that you sell it for minus your costs. But we can't increase the price of just a single unit. There will be a point where people won't pay for it. I know I wouldn't pay for something that's too expensive or didn't have enough value. So the next question is, well, how do we raise the price without raising our costs and make the customer feel that they are getting a good value for their money? And that's where the discussion of average order value comes into play. AOV, what does that even mean? Average order value is the average amount of money that somebody will spend in your store when they come to make a purchase. Some people will spend 20 bucks. Some people will spend $100. Some people will spend 40. Some people will spend 50. We take the average amount of order value from all of your customers over a given period of time and we average it. Literally, that's all we do. We average it out. That gives us the typical amount that someone will spend in your store. The reason I bring that up is because the next phrase that I mentioned to you should be something that you are thinking about for the rest of your life in this industry. And that is average order value increases. How do you increase the average amount that somebody spends in your store? Here's a good example. We talked about how selling one of these for $20 didn't make me any money. What if we sell 3? Well, let's look at it. So if we sell 3 of these, we know that $20 a piece. So if we multiplied that by 3, it's $60, but we want to incentivize the customer to buy 3. So we'll drop the price down to $49.99. So we'll give them a $10 discount. We know that each one of these costs us $4. So we have $12 in materials right here. Off of 50, that brings us down to 38. Cool. We know that it costs $10 to get a customer. That doesn't change. Okay, so that brings us down to 28. I can tell you it's gonna be about 50 cents for the packaging and all of that. So, but we'll deal with that later so we don't mess up our math. And it's gonna cost us about $2.50 to pick and pack it. So about 50 cents in packing materials and about $2.50 in picking and pack fees. So we're at 38, we went down to 28. And now let's subtract $3 for the pick and pack of $2.50 and the packaging of 50 cents. Okay. That brings us down to $25 in profit. Holy cow, we're looking pretty good so far. $25 in profit. We've subtracted our cost. We've subtracted our customer acquisition cost. We've subtracted our pick and pack. Huh, $25, that's pretty good. What about shipping? Shipping on a product like this, because of the weight, it's gonna be about $8. So we're at 25, 18. We now have made a profit of $18. So if we sell a single, we'll lose $1, but if we sell a triple, we'll make $18. How does that work? It's all because of the average order value. Getting a customer costs the same amount of money, whether they spend $20 or spend $50. But the $50 customer is more valuable to us because they spend more money. That's one person, one order. So the more that person spends, the more profit we make, because the pick and pack costs don't scale with the sell price. The customer acquisition cost only has to happen one time. It doesn't scale with the amount of money that you charge. That is why average order value and increasing the amount of money a person spends in your store is so important. That's why I built my profit and margin calculator. So you could calculate your profit and your costs and your shipping to make sure that you understand how much money you're really making on a sale. I built it because I've lost money. Everything I've told you is true. Everything I've told you I've experienced firsthand. And let me tell you, it is a sobering thing when you realize that you have thousands of dollars in sales, but you're losing money. It really hurts. And I never want to make that mistake again. And I don't want you to ever have to make that mistake. So I make videos about this stuff to teach you how to solve those problems because I've solved them the hard way. What is the easiest way, the surest way, the best way to make sure that you make more money in profit on your sale? It is to increase your average order value or decrease the amount of money you have to spend to get a customer. I personally would rather focus on increasing the amount that a customer would spend in my store. A really easy low-hanging fruit for us was to just create a 3-pack. We did it with the Scorch marker, we did it with Maker's Magic, and we sell about half 3-packs and half in singles. But what if you can't make a 3-pack? What if a 3-pack was off the table? How could I increase the average order value of this $20 product? Bundles, but not bundling them together, bundling them with products that would help. If you're selling a nut butter, you might want to bundle it with other nut butters, maybe some additional seasonings or accoutrements or things that could help make that process easier and better. Here's a good example. Instead of making a 3-pack, we will come out with a brush kit, a silicone mat, mixing cups, stir sticks, gloves, and a pour spout, right? A different type of cap for this. We could probably source all of that for less than $10, but we can add $30 in value to the actual product. It allows us to charge more money by increasing the perceived value, by adding in extras that will enhance this product. So instead of thinking about it in terms of like bundles and stuff, think about it in terms of enhancements. How can you enhance your current offer, compel somebody to want to spend more money? Average order value is one of the levers that you can pull to directly increase your profits, exactly how much money you make. The other levers are conversion rate and customer acquisition costs. And we're gonna talk about those in another video. For now, I want you to focus on the average order value. I want you to look at your stats on Amazon and on Shopify. I want you to think about 3 ways you might be able to enhance or double your average order value. We did it. We picked and packed all of our orders. Today, it looks like we only had about 35 orders, and that took me about 30 minutes. So I'd say about a minute an order total if you're really moving slow and making videos like I am. But I would budget for about 45 seconds per order in terms of the time commitment. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is load this up in my truck, drive it over to the post office, say hello, make sure they're okay with me going in the back. I'm gonna dump it in the bins, get it all set up on the dock for them, and then pass this over to the manager or leave it directly on top of the pile. So I can make it really easy for them. These are people, and treat people like people so that they can treat you like a human. I'm really big on that, and I think it goes really far. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.